answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes. Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Mr. President, I wanted to ask...
So as you guys may know, Mamdani is meeting with Trump at the White House as we speak, and I'm pulling you guys some clips. But listen, most people are just going to do an analysis of it and give their take. But you guys know I have a completely different agenda over here on this channel. It is to expose the layers, to uncover things. Now, you saw that first interaction, right? Where, you know, when he's standing there with Trump, do you still call him a fascist? And he starts to stumble on his words. But Trump's just like, listen, it's okay. It's okay. Kind of a very buddy-buddy vibe that you're seeing going on with them. But let me tell you, I'm going to expose some things because you need to understand that our leaders, our politicians in the U.S. and globally, well, they're not elected. Okay. I know we have the illusion of them being elected. That's what they do. But understand they're selected. They are selected because it doesn't matter which side you're on. It doesn't matter which side you're on. They do not work for the American people. They do not work for us, the regular people. There is an agenda. And I'm sorry if that breaks any delusion or bubble or offends you, but this is the reality of the world. And I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you that. But I want you to pay attention to how many times we see these politicians fighting like cats and dogs, saying the most horrible things about each other. And then all of a sudden they're working together. There's some bipartisan thing, or they're meeting together in the White House after Zoran was saying all types of things about Trump. Trump saying things about Zoran, but they say we're working together for the American people. No. At the end of the day, guys, all of it's a show. Whether you want to believe it or not, it is a show. And I'm going to walk you through it. But let's look at this one.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago, you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country. You said you'd be his worst nightmare and accused him of having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers. And frankly, that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting. Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
So if you don't realize, because the reporter, they don't mic in the reporters properly, but he basically was referring to him calling Trump a despot. This is what Mamdani did. But it's all kikis and laughs now, which is, I guess, diplomacy. Some will call it, say, Melanie, you're reaching. This is just diplomacy. And it is. It is diplomacy. But I'm just going to show you this clip, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, because you know where we have to go with it in the New World Order. What I just did a video about Elon Musk, where essentially you will own nothing and be happy. He said that there will be universal high income. Okay. Even though he also says that work will be optional. And then as they're rolling out all of these Tesla robots and propping all of that up, guys, it's leading to the same point. Literally what Elon Musk is talking about is socialism. And really, it's really communism, but it's socialism. Okay? All right. And this is not just Elon Musk, who is like on the right. There's a lot of people. Really, it's like the AI and technocrats who say these things. But again, they are part of an arm of the administration currently. Right? So you've got to start thinking. You've got to start putting these pieces together to understand what's going on. But let's listen to this.
You said you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more. Go ahead. One or two more.
You say you love New York City, Mr. Mamdani.
So you see all this? You see all this? And just to take you back, there's a lot of clips from it. I'm not going to bore you with it. It was kind of like a nothing burger. But do you remember Mamdani with this? Hold on. Let me pull up my thing. So again, I want you to take note of what happens during the election, when they're trying to get elected, when they're trying to, put on the show so they can make sure they get in there. But then also, even after they're elected, you'll see these things like I think the greatest example that we could see is that how much Obama, when Kamala was running, was saying how Trump was a fascist, a Nazi. He's going to destroy the world, destroy America. He's the worst thing ever. He's Hitler. And then you see him sneaking into inauguration parties where Trump is, like in the back door. And then you'll see them at funerals or other things laughing and smiling and just, it's kumbaya. You even saw that at Carter's funeral where Obama and Trump were like kumbaya. Guys, understand, we get emotionally invested in these things. We take it seriously because it's our lives. But understand, that's not how they see this. You've got to flip the switch in your mind and stop thinking like a normal person, okay? You've got to think like a politician. You've got to think like a global leader. You've got to think like as much as they show this fight for us, to keep us also fighting like roaches, to keep us in chaos, to make it look like they're actually doing a lot for us, while they put on that front face, they all know the truth that's coming. What have I been saying? None of these politicians are talking about digital ID. None of them are talking about the social credit score. None of them are talking about the plans that are laid out by the WEF, where we will own nothing and be happy. And I'm going to show you more of this in this video because you have to pay attention to the things that they're not talking about. That is where your focus needs to be. Not all the noise on the news, not what's trending, not what they're throwing a fit about that day. You have to understand the plan. But they always change their tune. Listen to Mamdani. Listen to Mamdani. So this was him before the election and then him after the election.
My administration would be Donald Trump's worst nightmare. I have many disagreements with the president, and I believe that we should be relentless and pursue all avenues and all meetings that could make our city affordable for every single New Yorker. I intend to make it clear to President Trump that I will work with him on any agenda that benefits New Yorkers.
Okay, guys, there's only so much I can stomach of these politicians, of Mamdani. It's just, if you want to see the clips of it, like I said, it was a nothing burger. But I want to show you this. We know what's funny? Right before the meeting, look what happened. Breaking: House overwhelmingly votes to condemn socialism hours before the NYC Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani's White House visit. That's all a show. That's all a show. Okay? That's all a show. And actually, this is actually a good exchange. I'll show this and then we'll get more into it. So listen to this.
Is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our
But to
city.
be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
There is actually a class action lawsuit going on right now because of Mamdani saying that he is going to tax white neighborhoods, white wealthy neighborhoods more. And so when he brought in race, that's an issue. But again, nothing's going to be done. This is all a show. Forget about it. Okay. Yes, it's going to usher in a lot of chaos, a lot of crazy things. It's going to most likely bankrupt New York City worse than it already is. The quality of life is not going to improve. It's going to be more chaos. But understand, this all leads to a goal. This all leads to a goal. So look at this. I have a bigger video on it, but I want to play this one for you because a lot of people think I'm joking when I say that they are our leaders around the world, well, they're selected. They are selected, not elected. Klaus Schwab, founder of the WEF, openly brags about infiltrating the governments of the world. Well, let's listen to this.
This notion to integrate young leaders is part of the World Economic Forum since many years. When I mention now names like Mrs. Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they all have been young global leaders of the World Economic Forum. Mm-hmm. But what we are very proud of now, the young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And that's true in Argentina too. Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's true in Argentina as well.
It's true in Argentina, and it's true in France now. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the president, with a young global leader, but...
Question commentaire, questions and comments. The honourable member for Oshawa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I listened to my colleague's speech. I had a constituent that wanted me to ask a question about outside interference to our democracy. Klaus Schwab is the head of the World Economic Forum, and he bragged how his subversive WEF, World Economic Forum, has, quoted, infiltrated governments around the world. He said that his organization had penetrated more than half of Canada's cabinet. And I was wondering, in the interest of transparency, could the member please name which cabinet ministers are on board with the WEF's agenda? My concern is the deputy.
Order. I know that the member was in a really good question there, but the audio is really bad, and the video is really bad as well. And I apologize. I don't know if the member. Okay, let's try again. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Mr. Speaker, that member was promoting open disinformation. That's not debate. We have to call out disinformation.
We'll get into debate again. The honourable member, questions and comments, the honourable member for Lambton, Kent, Middlesex.
Do you see how they tried to avoid that's in the audio and the video? We couldn't quite hear it. We don't know what was said. We all heard it. And if you don't know who Klaus Schwab is, he is the person that created the WEF. You got to do your research on him, maybe, and we'll go through that in a live so that we can break that down. But I want to keep this moving. Okay, so they select the leaders, and you may think, well, that's just the world leaders. They rarely want to mention the U.S. because they know how much we feel about these things. It's less so in other countries. They, here we really value our freedom, our voting process. We really value those things, so they know where to toe the line. But more and more, you are seeing our leaders actually saying a lot of the things are in lockstep with the WEF. Well, I mean, we know we are. I've shown you the evidence of this over and over, okay, where we're getting into the digital ID, which is already here in the U.S. It's already rolled out. And they said that your driver's license being added or passport is just the first step of what they need to do in order to enact their agenda. And that is part of the WEF's globalist agenda. And that ties into what we're doing with the Stargate, Project Stargate, with the AI and their plan and what Elon Musk is. Guys, are you starting to tie all this together? People will say Mamdani came out of nowhere. We don't know where he came from. Oh yeah, they're not going to openly say where he came from, but understand it's all part of the same thing. While, Elon Musk will say socialism is bad, but yet that's the future that he sees and is planning. He openly saying this all the time with his digital god, or he said, we're summoning the demons with AI. And this wasn't a joke. And I brought you that video earlier, like they want universal high income. You don't need to work. Work will be optional. Essentially, you will own nothing and you will be happy. But it goes more and it goes deeper. And I've exposed these things at every part of your life that WEF has published and talked about. And we Okay, in the US, they've even talked about how they want all of these parts of your life to be controlled and under surveillance, not only with digital ID, but also in another video I brought you, I showed you how in the UK now they have facial recognition security cameras. They're replacing all of the CCTV with facial recognition, okay, that will actually ping as well to your digital ID, which is now mandatory in the UK. But listen to this. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this. Because a lot of you guys may not believe what I'm saying, or I'm being hyperbolic, or I'm being, I'm just coming up with things. No, they're rushing towards the finish line.
At the same time, we are witnessing rapid technological advances with many opportunities, and with artificial intelligence rapidly transforming our production and our lives. And breakthroughs from the fourth industrial revolution provide new opportunities for global prosperity and growth. All those factors will have a profound impact on the future of humanity, provided we are able to work together. To drive future economic growth, we must embrace innovation and foster collaboration across sectors, regions, nations, and cultures to create a more peaceful, inclusive, sustainable, and resilient future. At this critical juncture, the active participation of all stakeholders is essential to ensure a sustainable development path. I'm delighted that close to 2,000 leaders from multiple sectors, representing some 80 countries and regions, have come to Dalian for this year's meeting.
Now, I was trying to find, when this stopped, I tried to find the clip where he says like some of the things he said about COVID, which I'm going to have to play. But if you just listen to the language they're using, and what it says is the COVID-19, this is a quote from him, the COVID-19 outbreak is the first big step towards unprecedented control over mankind. Now, I want to show you this. This is from a WEF whistleblower. And she says, Desiree Fixler, she says the WEF isn't helping the world. It's hurting it, enriching elites and punishing ordinary people. I know because I was on the inside. After my ESG whistleblowing story broke, I was invited onto a WEF council into the power mix. I thought I could challenge their ESG, DEI, and net zero agenda from within. Naive. What I saw was undeniable. The WEF isn't about better outcomes. It's about control and lining pockets through state regulation. This agenda needs to be called out ahead of Davos. Let's wake up, people. Let's wake people up. So this is her ID. And then she says here, the WEF is much more than Davos. My council had, and that's like the big meeting that they have when we see a lot of the videos and things. My council had meetings about once a month, and there are more than 50 other councils and sectors and groups and work streams. There are 800 employees at headquarters with 4 other offices and many global conferences around the world, not just Davos. Okay? So these are the things that you have got to start looking at when these things come out. Look at this. And this is, I think George Soros gave Mamdani about, I want to say 32 to 37 million. Like my brain is like 32, 35, or 37. Anyway, millions of dollars. George Soros. Yes, the George Soros, who is part of the WEF, that our current government, we are part of the WEF. I believe so far $100 million that we found that it has been given, paid to WEF for this whole digital ID system that has now been enacted here. And we're going to be under social credit score, just like they are in China. This is what is coming. This is what's laid out with the WEF. There is no ambiguity with it. Okay? This is happening. But this is who funded the major donor to Mamdani, part of the WEF. Okay? And it says the WEF owns Polis in conjunction with the Soros Open Society, controlling many of the Democrat politicians. The theory from many is they are the ones rigging the voting system, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. I'm just sharing this information. I am showing you what this is. And I'm trying to see if I can actually show you this one, if this is going to be a good one. Let me see. Hold on.
You have this anti-system.
Yeah, I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it, guys. So you can understand how these people think. So you can start to see they're working for a global agenda. There is, and if you know our history about the United States, a lot of people are waking up because they're just like NASA lied. These photos of Three-Eyed Atlas are just terrible. They're so fake. That amateurs in their backyard with a telescope from Shein, from Walmart, from Temu have better video and pictures, and they do. And how they gaslit us, these bureaucrats, and I mean, just gaslighting. And we see this over and over and over again. So people have lost trust in the government. People are seeing these things, but the government doesn't care. They were so bold with this NASA thing, but that is widespread with our government. Our officials right now know that Three-Eyed Atlas is not a comet. Everyone in the government, they all know about the digital ID. They all know about it. Once you establish that and the things that they lie about and how even NASA lied about, and then once you start to look at our history and how they had better technological advancements in the 1800s, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen my live streams, we go through all of this. They lied about our complete history. Our complete history. All you have to do is look at the World Fair, the World Fairs all around the world, where they built these marvels of engineering and craftsmanship with horse and buggy and hammer and chisel, without heavy machinery we have today. And guys, they had like conveyor belt, movable sidewalks. They had the lights. In fact, I think I have to break it into another video because when a lot of people can't, watch the full live streams. But guys, once you understand that everything is a lie, everything is a deception, everything that we're being told is a deception, and it's all leading to a point, just like the Bible says. Why are we're trying to save this world? Because, we've been accustomed to it. We're comfortable. Even if we don't like things that are happening, we're still comfortable. And we don't really take the word of God seriously. Okay? Who is the ruler of this world? Who is the ruler of this world? We are called to be a light in this world. We can't change this world. And I'm noticing a lot of people are still in that fight to try to change and dismantle and vote differently. Okay, you can do that. But I'm telling you what it's going to be. Digital ID will be here. A social credit score will be here. We cannot change that. The only thing you can change is what you choose to focus on and how you're going to handle it. And for me, that is believing in what the Bible says, believing in biblical prophecy, that all of this was going to take place. All of this was taking place. But most of us have been mired down with the things of this world and distracted by the things of this world. And then also our government wanting us distracted. And I always say fighting each other like roaches so we don't ever see what is really behind the veil. And a lot of times they say it right in the open. All of this is out in the open. It's just that it's not popular because I guess it doesn't score certain types of points. I don't know. But this is the most important thing in the world right now. There is nothing else that will be more important than this. I don't care what it is. But yet, none of our governments are talking about it, or none of our officials are talking about it, or doing anything about it, or warning us, or letting us know what the agenda is. And you have to ask why.
You have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. So fixing the present system is not enough. Now, there is, of course, a anti-system, which is called libertarianism, which means to tear down everything which creates some kind of influence of government into private lives. It's dismantling the system.
Yeah. They're against you dismantling the system. The idea that there will be less government involved when everything they have done and worked up to is so that the government is in control of everything in our lives. This is the new world order, and it is paramount that we hear these things, that we share it with other people and let them know. Like, and when I tell you this timeline is tight, they've said it, the timeline is tight. They are doing things and enacting things that you will not believe. And a lot of times news has been segmented. If you're not actually seeing what's going on in other countries, we're just focused on what's here, and you don't see the things that have been rolled out globally, you're really going to be in a siphon and you're not going to know how to put these pieces together. So that's part of what I want to do here on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed, guys. Don't fear, okay? We're not supposed to be filled with fear. We're just supposed to be informed and act accordingly. But so make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be bringing you more updates. And with that, I will see you guys very soon.